All right, we are gathered here today now. Great progress these days, and what we need to know, what we need to make sure everybody out there knows. Website, and what's great about this website, it was all done in-house for less than $1,000 by using all of our great resources. $1,000. I guess that was $1,000 a year to create it. But however, we did this for less than $1,000 to create a fabulous, fantastic website. So I want to also thank our management service and all of our creative department that worked very hard to make this happen. So can we give them a round of applause? So Mount Vernon is headed in a new direction, and in this new direction where we're going, everyone is going to have the opportunity in our city to have access to all information and what we call full transparency from every single department. All of their needs. We will no longer always have to run to City Hall to pay your bill. You can now pay it online. Your water bill, your taxes will start to be paid online. Your parking tickets, whatever it may be. You can access all of that and access all your applications. Hopefully soon we will have the last mechanism put in place where you'll be able to submit a lot of your building department applications and all of those things online. So this way, when you come in, we can have a quick turnover for applications when you're dealing with getting your building permits turned over quickly, so that way we can keep the process moving forward, so homeowners and other people doing work in our city don't have to be delayed for 3-4 months like in the past. Some people were told me it was up to 8 months. We don't need a building permit to take more than 3 days. Okay? We don't need to make sure that other documents take longer than 3 days. So this new integration of the state-of-the-art put together by these gentlemen and the rest of our crew here in City Hall has done a fantastic and fabulous job. I'm going to leave it up to them right now, and they're going to explain some of the things and some of the fantastic tools on this new website that we're launching here today that is already up. So if people are out there viewing it right now, and if you pull up your cell phones, you can see the website and you can access the website right now in virtual time. All right, at this point, I want to bring up
I'll take a quick one.
Gary, our Commissioner of Management Services, who's going to explain a lot of things, and then Danny, who's one of the technicians as well, to go through all of these different things and show you what we have to offer in the new Mount Vernon. Thank you.
I just wanted to call out to plans, a very big laundry list of things to come. Right? So how we interact with the city and our constituents, how they interact with us, how they find things. So this is really kind of a foundational layer. As a phase 2, we will be reaching out to every refreshing the content, looking for updated documentation, and automating some of those processes. So this is kind of a first layer for us, a 1.0. And I'll hand out to Danny. Real quick, big thanks to Danny, big thanks to Hans, who's good to be here. They spent a lot of late nights. Last night, keep you guys kind of running and keeping the lights on as best they could, knowing I had to pull resources off to kind of jump on this. So I thank you for all your patience in that, and hopefully we'll kind of get back over to Danny, and we'll kind of run through some of the highlights of
Thank you.
Okay. Here is going to be subject to change a lot. It's going to change with the seasons. And it's also whatever it may be, you're going to get creative with it, right? So, actually, sorry, let me step over this.
Sorry, my mouse. Now I'm playing more. Where'd he go? I lost the mouse. Yeah, I lost it.
Should I have it all the way to the right?
Maybe. No, the mouse.
It's up by the X.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Okay, so originally we had residents here, but now we have there we go, thank you. In government, we have you know, it's so as far as getting the plugins and the functionality correct. I feel like now it's actually more accessible to the residents. All right, so we're gonna So we have the calendar. We have new events calendar. You don't mind? Can you put that right now? Okay, with the new events calendar, so it's not just going to show, you know, this wording here. Once we move on to like bigger events, it actually the residents can actually click that, and actually we can get a firm reading on who's actually, you know, not only visiting the site, but also going to be attending the events as well. Like, you know, go back. Okay, we have meetings and agenda. We all know what that is. We're not even going to worry about that. Department directory, same thing. Major thing right here is the pay or fee feature. So, as we move on and start to progress from phase 1 to phase 2, guys can be patient with us so that we can, you know, phase in. Aesthetically, it's way better than what it was the first time. So. Scroll down. Can view the hero bar. It's continue down. That's irrelevant. This is the most important thing. In the city news section, it will end up here. But however you type it, capital letters on one word and then regular spelling on other ones. So it has to be uniform. So if you do want capital letters, it can be, as you can see, you know, capital letter here, capital letter, that's fine. But it can't be committee meeting, announcement. Okay, just keep it uniform. So it's only going to show the most recent 3. And if you click here, at view all,
Right. So if everybody remembers the old site, right? We just had that really long, never-ending list going back to 2000 and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. This kind of way it keeps the most up-to-date stuff in front for us and
down to the social media section. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Things you may have, that will be reflected in this area right here. So this involves, a lot of communication between departments. Don't just have an event going on. Make sure you communicate it between us, and we can get everything moving in a coordinated fashion. All right, so let's go down some more to the social media box. All right, so one of the main things also communicating with our residents via social media, because as you know, social media is becoming very understanding on who may be controlling your social media accounts and how we're going to actually go forward with that in terms of hosting and content uniformity, because that's a big thing. Scroll down. If I'm missing anything,
I think the only fun thing to kind of highlight, maybe off to the right there on the Instagram, right? So posts directly on the website. They don't necessarily have to go to the Instagram page, so it'll kind of start to ramp up. But any one of those are actually live Instagram posts, so they can kind of come to one place, see it. If they ever want more information, they can just click through any single one of those, and it will update.
Is CMV. Word content, but visual content. So this means interview, actually explaining to the residents what's going on, whether it's live streaming, whatever the case. These other news sources, they don't actually, tell us about the good things. The negative and whatever they want to get, some points on. We're going to show. Okay. And as you know, all right, so this is pretty much just a couple useful links. Whether it's go to the website, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I'm willing to take any questions that you may have.
Fire, we've basically identified the ability to have dedicated websites within a site, so it's not a typical page of kind of the about us. It will actually have real content, real-time updates. We're working with police and fire now. We just want to make sure it's actually 100% right before we kind of put it out there, right? What your department websites look like. So a big he has been working really hard for a really long time, and we kind of identified all of the we're kind of leveraging that. That's where that kind of standard bar comes in. A lot of this but going forward, like I said, we'll be meeting with each of you to really refresh that content. Going forward. So again, another evidence where we pulled people across the city, across departments, everybody got pitched in. This is a real team effort. I don't think we could have done it without everybody's involvement. So thank you.
Question. So in the past, we've been able to put our own
So I think we need to meet with your department, because right now you have a dedicated website that we've kind of brought in here. So you guys still have control of that. So I think it's one of those, as we meet with the department, make sure you still have the right controls so you can kind of maintain that.
With regard to the civil service exams that we do for all of the departments, will we still have the capability to post those and we'll cross over to the appropriate department so that if someone is looking at public works, they can see?
Things that's important is we still want you to own your content and bless your content as far as the wording and things. Your department will feed it into the content management guys just to make sure it posts properly. Would be, but again, you own the content. You decide what it's supposed to say, what it's supposed to look like. If you need the graphics, obviously you'll work with these guys to create that. But once you kind of bless that, then consistency and branding point of view, right? We don't kind of go sideways and back.
Beautiful.
Correct.
Okay, great.
So one of the things that we are working on website will actually support is people with various disabilities. The widget is live. It's not rendering right now, so we did go and think about and go the extra mile to look at all the different constituents of Mount Vernon and how we can make sure the website is really utilized for us. So the intent is kind of it's kind of a national thing. We're just kind of incorporating it in, but we did take the extra time to do that. The other thing we're working the website will actually translate into those languages automatically. So again, we're looking at how do we cover and make sure everybody across this Mount Vernon can access and
making sure everything is consistent, but you're being very customer service oriented. The accessibility issue is huge for the city, and so kudos to you and the team who's taken the time to bring.
the idea behind it and everything that we've been doing has really been we all know how many times we get phone calls and people are frustrated because they're not going to the right area. You know, this you know, we've been even kicking around in a phase 2, phase 3 of like artificial intelligence and chatbots to kind of help figure out what those questions are going to be so they can even do it. We move forward, I think, as we work with your departments, anything that you have, you know, again, a bunch of guys in a room that just crammed in. We did that to start, but we want everybody's feedback. We want everybody's participation. This is a primary way to get your we'll kind of move around that.
And will you have like a suggestion inbox if it's residents of the city have recommendations or suggestions?
Also, the key of having that feedback is we want everybody's department to look into their sites, go through the site, go through their department, see what you can do and what we can get together and put together to make sure. The key behind this is if we can keep people in their homes or where they are and still be able to do business, it's not only better for them, it's better for us because there's less people we City Hall to pay a bill. If they could do it from their living room, that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that everything's convenient. So each person needs to go through the site of each department and find out ways and look to see if you can create different ways to make it even easier. At home gives us more opportunity to do more work on other things that really need to be done. So it's about shifting a lot of the burden. So if we can keep, if we get 100 people a day come into your office and you can get 50 of them to go do it themselves and 51, that means we can use that time to be able to do something else. And this way we have more in your sites.
So the other thing real quick to support that, right, the other way to think right?
Yeah.
So the website doesn't go down, it doesn't go home at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, right? It doesn't wait till 8:30 to open. So those things that we can
echoing the sentiment, great job. You know, we definitely needed to do this. One for a renewal, for city council and those things. So if there is going to be a special meeting quickly on the website to alert the public.
Good question. So we would have the social media, like we could do it.
Yeah, so there's a combination of things we can do. It can both. As soon as it's posted here, it can be posted through constant contact. And so whoever's on that email list will be alerted instantly. And that, I think we have any event we go to, as you understanding not only how many citizens we have, but the way of contacting and informing each of our residents increases.
Happen is not only that people, when you put this information out, not only do you get it by email, you get it by text to your phones. So this way we can alert people. See there's a fire, police, or whatever the disaster may be. Once it uploads to the website, it can email and text those people who are involved in the texting system of it, almost like the Amber Alert.
Like Nixon.
Right. So this way everybody gets the information. Make sure that we inform people quickly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do we have the ability?
We can. A lot of the forms that were on the website were just standard links. I'm trying to think of a good one to show. You know who has? So one of the things we've been able to do with the site is actually help people by displaying the actual PDF right on the site. We actually have to create it that way first. So we can work on, the idea is to work on that. I think as we move forward and automate certain processes, I wouldn't even necessarily have a form. The website is the form, and then once the citizen actually fills out the information, it triggers that kind of workflow as far as what comes next, making sure it gets to the right department or right departments, right? Things like, enterprise content management for documents, DocuSign for electronic signatures, so all we're thinking about it, we're submitting it, we're talking. We have to sit through and talk about what the process is today and how do we translate it into a digital universe tomorrow.
That's just another way for us to save money, right? Because we don't have to worry about all the paper and the toner and the copiers.
Paper, toner, your documents,
Saving money.
getting washed out.
And not only that, people.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if you, instead of having 3 people to process paperwork at the window, you know, it can all be processed in the middle of the night by somebody's on the computer and sent over to one person it has to get to. Increasing workforce to meet the demands. We're doing it right now electronically, which of course everything in a manner.
This mouse on this keyboard's not the best. It's just not playing nice.
When we go to Samsung, based on our trip over.
So this way, it's already set with the mobile.
Sorry, it's just the mouse is.
Have the touch screen on there. Yeah.
Up here in the is what the mobile version looks like, right? So everything. A lot of the citizens and a lot of just how people work today is on their phones, right? So, yeah, I'm sorry, it's I wish I had it. Oh, yeah. We're gonna get closer. Oh. So if you can see here, right? So now the menu bar kind of sits in this environment.
Turn this over to Timber.
Again, main page, right? The video still works. Big parking announcement.
We are moving forward.
Right, got 84 clicks, man. That one was big. Right, so full end to end. Again, today's world will actually see a majority of people actually go mobile first. The website would be for just on a generational thing.
Version coming out for all of those who still have to click home. We're working on it. It's taking a little time though.
Anything else?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Well, kudos, guys.
All right. So let's make our lives easier. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.